Hello, friends. Welcome to Fire Emblem Discussion. Today we have a very special guest, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves real quick. Who are you?
I'm Samuel Kron. I got into Fire Emblem through Radiant Dawn. At the time, which I would not encourage anyone to do, but I was playing a lot at the time.
All right, man. So,
Yeah.
Radiant Dawn was your first game? That's cool. It's cool. And tell us, what matchup did you pick for today's arena debate?
Orsin and Boyd.
So, who are you defending?
Boyd.
Boyd. Okay. All right. So
I
that
have
means
no idea how it's going to go. I have no idea.
I guess we'll find out. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows at home, I haven't done the stats yet or any of the numbers behind it, so I don't know how the actual arena battle is going to go. Neither does Samuel. So this is just going to be our thoughts on backstory, the lore of the character, and the game they're from, and also their in-game performance, considering things like their weaponry skills and their stats compared to their peers in the game and out of the game. And then we're going to conclude our thoughts. So we'll go from there. And Samuel, if you're ready, would you mind sharing Boyd's backstory for us?
Sure. Oh boy. We got quite a bit there. Owed a lot. Okay, he's the brother of Oscar and Rolf. Oscar, the Crimean Royal Knights, but due to various circumstances, he joined the Guild Mercenaries. Forms a bit of, in Path of Radiance at least, he forms a bit of a rivalry with Ike. Honestly, to me, it looks more like just how two brothers would be acting. That's how I look at it, versus rivalry.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely act sort of like siblings, and they're in a situation where they are kind of like siblings.
They really do.
Yeah.
Boyd was part of the Guild Mercenaries longer. How much longer is very debatable. I would say not enough to brag about.
For sure.
Stop Boyd, though. You share similarities to other early game fighters, like his rival, Othin, or Orsin. Honestly, translations need to cooperate on that one. I see it spelled both ways.
Oh yeah, like the hero's translation is like Ojain or something like it's like Osain or something like that now. So it's like no one knows.
Like where they're maybe a little on the brash side.
Yeah, he's definitely he's a little hot. He's a hothead, right? Yeah, for sure.
Despite what I really liked with his character was, despite his tough guy demeanor, there are times where it definitely breaks down. In Radiant Dawn, when Mist is not feeling well, he very much insists her not joining the battle. Another thing I loved with Boyd was just how loyal he is. After Greel died, stayed with Ike and the Greel Mercenaries, tried to get Gatry and Shinon to stay as well.
Definitely. And I don't know, are there any significant events in the story of Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn that really shaped Boyd's character?
Not as much in Path of Radiance. I don't think he seems very much the same beginning to end, but I would say the events in Path of Radiance up to what we see, not quite as brash. He still has some of that, but it's not as much.
He calms down a bit for sure, right? He's a little older, a little wiser in Radiant Dawn.
Yeah. And this isn't confirmed, but I think you could definitely speculate he was probably trained how to use the axe by Titania. He goes with Ike up against a goddess. You've got to have some serious backbone to do all that.
That's true. Definitely true.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, he has quite the story, really. Yeah.
And it's amazing how big he and Ike got between the two games.
Oh my gosh, they both get jacked out of their minds, become muscleheads.
Yeah.
Freaking crazy.
It's even commented on in a conversation.
Yeah, they even talk about it in game. It's crazy. All right. So I'll go ahead and real quick. So Orsin he's part of the Fianna Militia, or sometimes translated as the Fianna Freeblades. Works with Avail and Havan protecting Leaf. He seems to have a close relationship with the archer Tanya, and it's hinted at that they are potentially like a couple in the end, but we don't really know. It's not confirmed or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up together.
Honestly, yeah.
And as far as any significant events in his life, I mean, I feel he's very hot-headed, similar to Boyd. They're very similar characters that way. And I think that is his skill Wrath is indicative of that as well. I mean, that kind of fits his just personality. He just wants to, like, his opening lines, or like, and some of the few lines he ever speaks, are basically like, let's just go kick their butts, you know? Let's get this done. You know, Fiona's being invaded or whatever. Let's just go kill people. And everyone else is like,
says to Orsin in the very beginning, "I'm too hard. I'm looking at you, Orsin."
yes, like, chill, buddy. So it's pretty interesting that way. And as far as the lore of the game goes, like, Thracia 776, that whole story is just kind of a bit more toned down as far as what the characters are up against than like other games in the series. You know, genealogy, there's essentially trying to kill a dragon god. You know, Tellius, of course, you know, Ashera is like the final boss, who is again a goddess herself. So stuff like that, you could see being against him. He still had the opportunity to fight against people like the Dead Lords. And
the Dead Lords.
Dead Lords are ridiculous. And even, you know, Raedric himself, stuff like that. So I think as far as his backstory, there's a lot points me to believe that his hot-headedness can sometimes get him into trouble, and he's like pretty brash, but all in all, he is just like, I don't know, dedicated guy. He's willing to sit, like, he wants to protect Leaf in any way that he can, as displayed by his comments when Leaf is captured. He's like, hold on, Leaf, we'll save you, essentially. So that's kind of Orsin. I mean, he doesn't have as deep as a backstory as like Boyd, just because of the lack of writing in Thracia for characters, but nonetheless, that's basically what we know. He's just a hot-headed loving dude, you know. Okay, so let's move on to the lore for our characters, and this is where it's going to be more of a debate, and I'll probably cut you off sometimes and tell you you're wrong. You can do the same to me. So you know, this time I'll go first this time, if that's all right with you.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so Boyd, Boyd, sorry, I'm on Orsin. I was thinking about Boyd for some reason. Orsin. As far as
just give Boyd long green hair, and they're both the same.
Yeah, exactly. So Orsin, as far as we know, he does have the weapon Poogie or Poogie, another one I'm not sure how to pronounce. It is his own personal weapon, though there is like a hero or something later in the game that is found wielding it for some reason that you can steal from and get a second Poogie for yourself. Anyways, besides the point, it's his personal weapon. It's the one he's most comfortable with, as evidenced by his conversation with when he receives it from his house. You know, he talks about how he can't imagine fighting without that axe. So it's his personal weapon that he can throw at people, and it comes back to him like a boomerang, because, you know, magic axes and stuff in Fire Emblem, they always come back. And as far as we know, we don't know for sure if he was like trained by Avail or Finn or anything like that, but definitely fighting alongside people who are so storied and so powerful as them would give him an edge against someone who maybe didn't train with someone with so much skill, or at least work with them. So he definitely picked up pointers from Avail, Finn, and, you know, had a rival to work with in Havan who is similar to him. And as far as feats of strength, skill, or maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't say he has any feats of wisdom going his way. But as far as feats of strength and skill go, we do see he does have the opportunity to get into fights with the Dead Lords, who are the toughest enemies in all of Yggdrasil, as evidenced by the end of FE4 as well. We see them appear. Leaf's army did go up against like some of the toughest odds, where they were outmanned, outgunned, you know, didn't have the weapons that other people did, and still came out on top. So just all in all, I feel like Orsin has a lot of character behind him when it comes to his strength and skill with a weapon, and being trained by significant people, and, you know, he has the Poogie, which is like the best axe in the game. So as far as lore goes, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's right. It comes with a hand axe and a steel axe, but the killer axe from hit, which some really good hit, especially for an axe.
Definitely.
You know, your standard hit of around like 75 or so. But in terms of might, and especially the crit bonus, when I compared the two, they have the same crit bonus attached to them. Might of 10, which I believe is 1 point higher than what the Pugi has. That if Orsin attacked first, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But if it was Boyd to attack first, cancel the crit bonus of both might cancel each other out, or they both have like an equal chance to activate it.
I will say that Orsin has a really high luck. Has really high luck.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I was looking at the cap averages for Orsin the other day, and capped, and a lot of his other stats were close to capping.
Yeah, so as far as crit goes, Orsin has really high critical evade, which Boyd honestly kind of lacks in. I mean, his isn't awful. So as far as the crit game goes, I honestly feel that Orsin has the advantage in just like raw critical damage, like being able to put out criticals.
His critical proficiency, not to mention, we haven't even touched on Wrath yet, and
we'll get there. Trust me, I'll get there.
I bet you will. Yeah, like the main difference I saw with Orsin, speaking, their stats were in relation to the cap for the game, seemed to set the two apart was Boyd would definitely have more HP, where capping HP for Orsin, he has quite a bit to go at 80, but he was, I think, in like 50 or 60 HP.
Yeah, he ends up with the average is 59.
Yeah, that's right. First, there is the 20 build, so I suppose he might just decide to capture Boyd.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that counts as a victory either way, capturing.
Yeah.
I will say, I think Orsin has the speed advantage as well. I'm not sure if it's enough to double, but Boyd's speed isn't super impressive to me, and I think Orsin may have the advantage there.
Speed, again, if you look at the averages, it's 2 points away from capping on average. At level 20, he should have about 0.95, and the cap is 35 for speed.
Yeah, so he should be about 34.
Yeah, exactly. So it's close to capping.
Yeah, so it's close.
I'm not sure if it... So, yeah, like you said, I'm not sure if it would be enough to double, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they might be on pretty even playing field as far as
I think Orsin would probably have a bit more speed, but I don't think it would be the 5 speed difference that he would need to double.
What I will say is that Orsin will definitely have a really solid 1-2 range option.
Yeah, and definitely. And
Boyd's only going to have access to hand axes, short axes, and the tomahawk, which tomahawk's nothing to sneeze at, but it has a pretty cruddy hit rate, honestly. So
yeah,
I definitely give Orsin that advantage in the range department.
There are 2 things I know of that might help Boyd survive. It comes down to either forging a hand axe or a certain skill. So I thought we should probably save that till later.
Why don't we move into that? Let's move into that. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's go with I'll go with forging first, since simplest. Hand axe has a might of 9, hit of 70, 0 crit, but Boyd has a con of 12, so he's not going to be weighed down by that any day. But I know for a fact you could easily get the hit into 70, the might into the double digits, and a pretty solid crit rate on. I seem to recall you can put the numbers up pretty high by endgame, like endgame forge. Like it almost seems to upgrade, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what I have the numbers in front of me right here. So for forging, you can add 5 might, add 25 hit, add 15 crit, and add 5 weight. But you don't need to add weight to your weapon. That's stupid. Don't do that.
You might want to reduce weight, but you're not going to add weight.
Yeah, you might want to lose weight for a character with low strength in Radiant Dawn, but that's
So in other words, you could get a hand axe to 95 hits. How much might did you say?
5.
5. So that would be 14 might. How much of a crit bonus again?
15.
Nothing to sneeze at, really. That's going to hit hard even if he doesn't crit.
Yeah, especially beefy attack stat.
Yeah. His attack is likely to be capped. I mean, I think Orsin will probably be close to capping as well, but still.
Yeah, Orsin doesn't quite cap strength on his own. But I will say his weapon Poogie Its might is 10, which isn't quite as good as your forged hand axe you have over there. It does have a hit of 80, which serves its purpose, but its crit rate is 30. 30
Yeah,
crit.
that's what. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty even game there. And another thing I haven't even touched on yet is that Orsin promotes into what I say is a better class than Boyd. I think giving him access to swords, while the lack of 1-2 range doesn't help a whole lot, is way more important than access to crossbows or bows, which Boyd gets upon promotion. And it could give weapon triangle advantage if Boyd's hit rate. If Boyd doesn't have the best skill, I mean, it's not awful. Doesn't have the best skill in the world. So if you throw even just an iron sword on Orsin, he might have the evade to dodge for a while and still have good enough damage output to make up that difference, if you know what I mean. So I feel like that might be a turning point as well to consider.
If Orsin is using a sword, he's probably not going to have access to the best swords. I mean, whoever really is going to try to really high.
Yeah, Orsin with S swords is like impossible, or A swords or whatever it is. And
what is that you're talking about?
That's impossible. But hey, an iron sword, I'm just saying, with an iron sword, the hit difference may be enough. So Orsin has freaking wrath.
Oh yeah, freaking wrath.
And not just like any wrath.
He has the OP wrath.
He has Thracia wrath. So upon counterattacks, he always crits. If it still has to roll hit. He has to hit first. But if he hits, it's a crit every time on counterattacks.
A couple times where it didn't crit, but I think that was mainly with Brighton in the Manchester Escape section, and maybe it was because he had a sword against lance users. I'm not sure, but there have been a couple times where I saw someone who had that wrath, but
but that's how that skill is supposed to work. It's supposed to be critical on counters,
guaranteed threat,
and unless the enemy has like awareness or nihil or something.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, Orsin doesn't need much else besides that. I mean, wrath, booyah. But yeah, what you got?
Base skills. Boyd has, of course, shove. Not that that's going to help much. He has crit +5, which could add to like the crit bonus he would be having. In my opinion, Reaver is almost like a renamed Berserker, but they don't have the high crit rate on it.
Okay.
Additionally, he has Colossus. Animation-wise, I love that skill.
Oh, it looks so cool, man.
Yeah.
Becomes like the Tasmanian devil with his axe and then just destroys them.
I think you triple strength. Now, what I can never figure out was per blow, or is it just triple strength?
It triples your. It's one attack.
He hits the guy about 5 times, I think.
So the way Colossus works, it's one single attack, and it triples their strength, and it triples the Reaver's strength for that one single attack. But essentially that's enough to kill anybody with Boyd, because
so if
40 strength.
If Boyd is able to activate on the first attack, Orsin is probably done.
But what's the activation rate on that is not like reliable.
That's the thing. I mean, I have seen it activate regularly, but first of all, that was 3 when Boyd was Reaver.
It's a skill divided by 2% chance of happening.
I would say if he has a support with Ike, it seems to activate a little more frequently, but it's not something I would place bets on.
The way it works, I think Bond supports might add to skill activation in Radiant Dawn. I'm not sure actually about that.
I think as support, Ike gives him a little bit of a skill boost, so yeah.
But skill divided by 2% chance. Honestly, that's not gonna. With his skill, that's gonna happen like what, 1 in every 6 or 7 attacks, whereas Orsin Orsin needs 1 throw of his Pooji. And he crits.
Or to be attacked first, and then a throw of his Pooji.
Yeah, so that's what it comes down to, and I just because Boyd's his end game attack, his thing that's like he wins no matter what, it's so unlikely that you're just like I don't think it affects the battle enough.
There are a couple skills in the game that I think would help Boyd defend against the crit.
Okay.
Primarily, I'm thinking of Fortune, which negates criticals. If he had that equipped, it would basically work like a nihil, but it's for crits instead of skills. I think it would at least allow him to last longer. I'm not sure it would guarantee him winning, but it would allow him to last longer.
Definitely. But on that same note, if we're going for outside sources on like weapons and stuff, not Boyd. Dang, I keep doing that. Orsin has access to scrolls.
Looking at the scrolls he had access to, yeah, he's no slouch.
You can throw, you throw on like I always forget like what the scrolls actually like, which ones do what.
Let me see.
But it's not hard to like just throw on the Baldo scroll for just like and the Hezel scroll and throw on the Dane scroll probably too. Like just all sorts of stuff. You can just throw like 5 scrolls on him while he's leveling up, and his growth rates like skyrocket, and he becomes insane.
Not to mention, I think it's the Here scroll. If you throw that on him, will probably increase more. So he might have more move than what it says the average will be.
Yeah, the Dane scroll gives.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I just pulled it up and started looking at it. Yeah, so that's the thing. Orsin has a lot of tools at his advantage. Like you could even there's like there's different skills you can give him. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I was looking at those as well because I was like just comparing like what each one has going for them the other day.
You could even give I would argue to giving if you're gonna if you can give Boyd any skill, I would argue giving like awareness to Orsin.
I think with how Thracia works, you can it's pretty much limitless per character.
Yeah.
Essentially, you could give Orsin, you could give him charge, you could give him vantage, which is in Thracia vantage is so good.
But the problem with that though is ambush. In Thracia, if you pair ambush with wrath, it just doesn't work for it just doesn't work. So because he attacks first, so it's not a counter, so it's not like a critical hit. I did that once thinking, oh man, he'll be so good now. It didn't work.
Right.
And then I looked into it and I was like, oh, it just doesn't work. But there is the continue manual, which would also help him a lot. So if we're going with outside sources like that, then I think that puts him on extremely even playing field.
Yeah, definitely. I would pretty much agree with that. That's why going in, I was like, I have no idea how this is going to play out.
Okay. Well, I think that's about everything. How about you give your concluding thoughts, Samuel, on why you think Boyd wins this matchup?
Can win, but it's going to be really close. The main cliché is can Boyd survive long enough versus just being instant critted by Orsin. I think Boyd's best chance would be if he had equipped to negate any chance of crit.
Yeah, so if he had Fortune, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, now a Forge Hand Axe would be nice, but if it was a choice between the two, I probably would just slap a Fortune on Boyd instead, because a Forge Hand Axe would be nice, but there's still the matter of Orsin having a really high crit rate on, and that's that's the biggest Achilles heel right in this fight.
Okay. All right.
Fortune equipped, I think he can win. He does have the Killer Axe. If other weapons in the game are included, Forge a Hand Axe, which will allow him to counter regardless. There is the Irvin.
You're right.
A very accurate axe. Very high might. In fact, actually, interesting enough, that axe is so accurate. It's the Black Knight with that axe, and his chances of hitting the Black Knight are actually a little bit better with the Irvin than the Ragnell.
Ridiculous.
Its hit is pretty crazy.
Yeah, 110. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. That is really high.
Additionally, there is also the double bow, which 1 to 2 range regardless, and it's also very accurate, so there's that as well.
Boyd cannot use the double bow.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. I keep forgetting Path of Radiance Boyd is the one that gets the bows.
Yeah, so yeah, he only has access to crossbows.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it mainly just boils down to he needs to survive long enough. The best way to do that is if he has Fortune equipped. From that, if he can survive long enough, his HP will be better, his header and his defense a little better as well. And I think it could be enough to allow him to survive long enough if critical can be taken out of the equation.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll give you. Thank you for your thoughts. I'm going to give mine real quick. So, Orsin not only has an extremely powerful, high crit 1-2 range weapon in the Poogie axe, he also has Wrath. But even if you are going to use Fortune to negate Wrath, and you're going to add that skill to him, I'm going to throw... There's plenty of skill manuals from Thracia that I can throw on to Orsin as well to give him...
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Give him Continue, which, adds chances of extra attacks. And while you can forge a hand axe, and honestly be pretty much on par with that, with the Poogie, Orsin has access to the scrolls, all the holy blood scroll things, and if you do the right combination of those, his stats, especially if we consider he'll breaking through like the 20 stat cap that Thracia has, he will be absolutely ridiculous. He will be faster, he will be stronger, he will have probably similar HP and better defense than Boyd. I am almost confident in that.
Yeah.
And Orsin overall is just the better. I feel like he's just the better fighter. He's in a better class as a hero rather than a warrior / reaver, and has access to more diverse weaponry, being swords if necessary. And something I didn't even touch on, he will have access to the Brave Axe once he builds his rank a little bit, and that is just a really powerful weapon as well at his disposal.
I forgot about that, but yeah, you do get the Brave Axe early on, and it doesn't take long to get his rank high enough to use that. Yeah,
for sure. So I think Orsin wins this battle. I feel like he has more advantages than Boyd does. And especially if we're considering base kits and not looking at adding extra things to their extra skills or extra weaponry or whatever else, Orsin takes this without a question.
Base kit and everything, I would have to agree. Yeah, Orsin wins. If he attacks first, he probably crits. If Boyd attacks first, Orsin crits.
So those are So there's our thoughts on today's arena battle. So thank you for joining me, Samuel. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Good. And if you want to do what Samuel has done today, come on with me for an arena debate. Come join our Discord where you can give your ideas for future arena debates and battles. And again, potentially come on the YouTube channel with me and discuss that. It'll be fun. It's a good time. Thanks for coming on, Samuel. And make sure to go check out the poll in the description and go vote on who you think should win this matchup, Boyd or Orsin. And I'll also include a couple of extra questions, like who do you think wins lore-wise, who do you think wins gameplay-wise, and then overall, who do you think is the better fighter. So go check that out in the description. And of course, don't forget, you can win your own copy of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Make sure to share this video on all the social medias, tag me in it, all that stuff will be in the description as well for your chance to win. But thank you so much for listening. And Samuel, what should the people do?
They should comment, they should subscribe, they should share the video, who they think will win and why.
Dope. Okay, you heard it from the man. Subscribe, dang it. If you made it this far into this video and you haven't subscribed, you're crazy.